Welcome back to the Golden Blab. We are guestless this week. It's not a good thing. It might be a bad thing. But we are guestless regardless because we have a lot of things going on in our world, which we'll probably say every single week. But first and foremost, you've got Kevin. You've got me, Adam Kramer. As you can see behind me, for those who are viewing this on the video, I am on what hole am I on? Missouri. It's Missouri Valley. It's Missouri, hole 10. This is how far I've made this, Kevin, through today.
Hey,
okay?
you finished the back or the front 9 of Missouri Hills. I'm very proud.
Missouri Hills, not Missouri Valley. Missouri Hills. I am 11 under through 9. Not going particularly well. So we're recording this now at almost 4 o'clock. From about 8 a.m. through 4 p.m. I've made it. It's like about a whole an hour, I guess, is what we're trending on. Not great.
I mean, in your defense, I think you and I have spoken maybe 5 words to each other all day. So you have been busy, and so have I, in meetings. So it's not like you're just hanging around and it's taking you that long. It's for good reason.
It is. No, it's been a busy day. It's a really busy time of year. So this episode of the pod really is world-centric. But we do have, I'll call it actually a really kind of a fun teaser that we'll talk about later on that will come out before World. And just generally speaking, by the way, for some housekeeping, we've got Worlds coming up next week, which we'll talk about ad nauseum. We have the schedule of events here that you and I can go over. We'll talk about kind of our expectations for both championships, and then it's like Golden Tee update, and I am excited about that because it's going to be a pretty dramatic shift. We've got the 4th of July, right? We got Worlds, you got 4th, and then it's update time split. And I can tell you, even though we are all very world centric, you and I and others, marketing in the office, getting ready, the development team, the shift is getting everything going here for this update. And the tone, the pacing, the serious, like, not that it's not serious, but there's an intensity as you get down to a project that I really can feel. And then you match that intensity with the intensity of getting ready for this huge, huge weekend, huge events. You could feel it, right? Like there's an aura in the office that you can really, really tell.
There's definitely something in the air. And it's funny, like you can talk about it and unless you're in the office and see it, like you really do see, you go from like everyone puts in their 8-9 hours to you get to crunch time and people are in the office 10 hours. They're like trying to fix bugs before we ship, trying to build out new features. We won't talk too much about them, but maybe you will. That's all on you. I'm not going to say anything, but
oh no, we will. We'll talk about all of it. It's just how and when. I mean, right now we've gotten this product most summers. It's like content overflow, which is awesome. We have a 35th anniversary to celebrate, which we want to celebrate in style. We have more interviews we want to do. So it's a lot. But the most pressing matter of it is it's Worlds. So we're recording this on a Thursday. You and I will leave next Tuesday. And then it's showtime. So vibe check. How are we feeling? Where are we at mentally when it comes to this huge event?
Honestly, it's really good. There's a few boxes left in my office that, finished packing some stuff up, going to drop off at the Vernon Hills office on my way out. I think you and I both are technically taking tomorrow off to just have a little bit of a mental break-ish, before we're gone for Vegas. The vibes are good. They're strong right now. Like you said, it's the 35th anniversary, having this massive, 2 massive world championship events at the Palms. We've got qualifying spots open for both the mobile and arcade qualifier. So whether you're seeing this on Friday or over the weekend or hell, even next week, there's still time for you to find a way to get out to Vegas and qualify for either of the tournaments and the last chance qualifiers. And it's just, for us, it's been a couple of years since we've done a combined mobile and arcade world championship. So it changes the scope of things a little bit. We're out there longer. There's more to prepare for. There's 2 different events going on at one, which is great. But when you're out in Vegas for a week, it's like, okay, what can go wrong between the guys picking up our our games to travel from Chicago to Vegas. You and I were joking about that the other day. Like,
Oh yeah.
and even everything with the palms, with like the bartenders, servers, snacks, all that kind of stuff. Until you actually get to an event and start setting up, at least from Andy Coolman and I's perspective, like your mind's always racing of, okay, this is going to be a great event. We're excited. But what could go wrong? Is something going to go wrong? What's going to throw off, our beaten path of setting up at 6 a.m. and, in a perfect world, we're sipping mojitos at the pool by 2 o'clock on Wednesday, although that's not going to happen because there's a lot to set up.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of, and we put a lot of expectations on ourselves, especially on the marketing side, as we've got a bigger team out there, internally and externally. It's, hey, we want to put on a better production, whether it's me, you, Gino, and Shrump commentating. How do we make that better, more data-driven? Selling merch at Worlds, some of the cool things that we have planned in between qualifying and the championship events.
Yeah, there's by way of example, we went on a stretch of probably a year and a half where no matter what event we did, whether it was a trade show or a tournament or whatever, a TV or two would break along the way. A forklift would go right through a TV, and you could look at the box and be like, that TV is pork. I thought like you just knew. So we went like a year plus where TVs were an issue, right? A lot of it, this is like coach speak, but we do what we can to prevent these things. And then, of course, you're going to pivot. What will the network be inside the area, right? What will all games just be shipping intact? So one of the things we do when we get there is we like to get all eyes on everything as quickly as we can just to see, hey, what are we going to need? We do have the luxury because we're doing mobile first, and it doesn't require as much hardware. Something could still go wrong with that hardware to get eyes on stuff and say, all right, well, this was damaged or the shipping.
Let's run to Best Buy or Staples.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like but all those things are part of doing an event. It wouldn't be a large, and I don't think it's just a golden tee thing, right? Like there's got to be some adaptability, and there's just got to be a sense of calm, because what can go wrong will go wrong, and as long as you do your due diligence up front, like our setup is fascinating, right? It's going to be an interesting day because we're going to try and do things a little bit differently, just to take some of the, just from a time standpoint, and I think we've learned a lot over the last couple of years. So that's where more than anything, my mind is up setup, and it's at, get everything in, get everything wired. Even that, we're like light years ahead of where we've been in the past. So, you will get off kilter. We will get knocked in the face for something, and we will adjust.
As long as nothing happens like we were talking about yesterday to the truck, because if something happens to the truck, we're
we'll get another truck, I think.
Yeah.
But no, we're excited. It's a long week, but it's one of the weeks I look forward to every single year. So do you want to start with a schedule rundown here for those attending and those thinking about attending?
Yeah. So again, because it's a 4-day event and not your typical, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're starting pretty early on Thursday. It's part of the reason why our team's getting there Tuesday night, setting up all Wednesday, Thursday morning. So Mobile World Championship starts, the last chance qualifier and the 5-course qualifier for the players already qualified begins at noon sharp Pacific time. Doors open at 11. You can get your drink on. Arcade cabinets will be up and running for those that want to play those while they're getting ready to play mobile. And then by 6 o'clock, we're going to start mobile championship bracket play. So it's that first day, again, you're talking about, iPads and mobile player accounts. It makes it a lot easier than when you're dealing with actual hardware and 22 of the cabinets behind you. But it helps give us that little buffer too, because if something does go wrong, mobile can usually go without a hitch. And then we're already into Friday. Friday is where we start, we start a little bit earlier, doors open. Mobile championship bracket starts at 11 o'clock, right after doors open at 10:30. And then we kind of do this transition where as soon as that world championship is finished for mobile and we have a 2024 Golden Tee Mobile World Champ, we go right into the arcade last chance qualifier, playing Target Rush. As of right now, and I know I'll get jagged for this, there's 6 open qualifying spots. 6. I figured out how to count. There's 6 of them. But again, even though the event literally takes place 8 days from now, or the arcade qualifier, last chance qualifier does, there's still may be people that have to drop out because of a work trip getting extended, a family member gets sick, kids are sick, whatever. So as far as I'm aware, I know there's at least 6 people traveling to Vegas to qualify, so I'm not worried about not filling a 96 person player bracket. But at that same time, at 7 o'clock, we're also going to do a money shot contest, very similar or identical to what Steve Sobel and Paige and Russ do at the National Tour events for all the players that have qualified. So we'll leave Target Rush to the non-qualifiers. We'll do money shot for the qualified players. And then, we talk about this all the time, but as we get those last 6 or how many people qualified next Friday, that's when the atmosphere starts to change a little bit, because Friday's the big party. It's the celebration of the Mobile World Champ. It's the, getting people to potentially qualify for Worlds. In years past, pre-COVID, we've had over 100 people. Last year, I would think we had 60 or 70 people show up. Whether it's 25, 50 or 100 or more, like it's amazing to see the people that come out to travel just to hang out, play Golden Tee on the side, try to qualify, see their friends, and just have a good time in Vegas.
Yeah, I love Friday night. What'll be really interesting for us, and this of course is all about us, but what'll be interesting is for us, Friday night, normally in the normal rhythm of a arcade championship, you do setup. It's tough, grueling. You pause, and then you get ready for Friday night, and you get ready for the weekend. It'll be in the thick of it. So the sprint for us starts obviously much sooner. We'll take some time. There'll be some moments in the first few days. We hope to, we're gonna have a team dinner. We're gonna
try to
decompress a little bit. But at that point, like we'll have celebrated what we hope is a really exciting mobile championship, and then be on to the next, which is awesome. So I'm just excited to see, the level of play up until that point. And then Friday night, yes, hopefully have a few beers, get the bracket finalized. And then of course, everything on Saturday changes. Now, doors are opening on Saturday at 9 a.m.
Yes, doors are opening. And you actually have what I sent you. It's actually the same time doors are opening is when we're going to start open play, because we're starting qualifier at 11 a.m. So, the players had voiced their opinion. We'd work with our friends at the Palms, and so we were able to get doors open an hour earlier to really get players to warm up. And we're going to have 22 cabinets, 16 are going to be used for qualifying. So there's definitely going to be some opportunities for players to stay warm, play games on the side, even if
that's cool.
Their machine's not qualifying at that moment.
I was talking today because Saturday, then just to continue in qualifying at 11, and then we're going to do our speed tournament at 6 p.m. Now, what was Paul Luna's speed time from last year? Do you remember offhand? I kept stumbling. We have some interns in our QA department this year. We had lunch outside. Short, real quick timeout. Did you go? We had food trucks outside of our office, and we had a gentleman doing music outside. Did you catch any of this?
I did not. I actually went off to get lunch somewhere else.
So I got to just give this guy a shout out. He played. This is an older gentleman who started off, playing the rock hits, went and did some Tupac that included auto-tune, then sang some opera, then went to Outkast. And this is a guy standing on a pavilion with a guitar.
In 98-degree heat or whatever.
Yeah, I still can't stop thinking about it. But we met with our QA interns out there as a quick side, and we were talking about the speed run and how unbelievably cool it was to see. And I couldn't recall how fast it was, other than it was unbelievably fast and obviously still very well played.
Yeah, and this year it's different too, because it's not just one player doing it. There's kind of like a mini tournament that Andy Kuhlman's running. Everybody's going to be on a lot conditions card, so everyone's going to have the same setup and everything. They're playing for that, and it'll be cool to see. It's something different. I know there were some people that were upset that they didn't make it on the list. As this kind of like these side tournaments and events expand over the next couple of years, like this is something that if people want it, we'll definitely expand it. It's the same reason why we're also doing the single elimination doubles tournament right after. We've never done that at a Worlds, at least since it's come back. It'll be, it's single elimination just because we can't afford to be there until 4 a.m. For a variety of reasons. But it'll be fun to play. I'm hoping that, some of our team can get in there and play, you and I, and that can kind of feel like not even calm, but like just like the relaxation everyone has. At that point, everyone's going to know who's in the top 32 for the World Championship, who's going to be in the bottom 64 for silver. And it's kind of like part two of that party. And then, you talk about the tone changing from Friday to Saturday. It's, a whole different ball game Saturday going into Sunday.
Yeah, same thing. Doors at 9, open play at 9. And then the silver bracket will get an hour head start at 11. And then the championship bracket will begin at noon local time. And really at that point, it's going to go as long as it takes to get a couple of champions. Now, the one thing that was really interesting, some years are different than others. Last year, sudden death, I know, was a theme that extended throughout. We saw some really long, unbelievably well-played matchups. Will we see that again? I'm sure. But the other part of this, if you're playing or you're attending, is great. We'll definitely have information for streaming as well. And, we've talked about this over the last, I don't know, since we've started talking about Worlds, whether you know these guys or not, and gals, or you love the game or you're trying to learn more, if you watch 15 minutes of a stream, you're going to be a better Golden Tee player just by tuning in. You'll learn about these courses. You'll learn about shot types. Players in the chat, I think, will help understand what you're watching too. If you have questions, come ask questions. So if you just want a little crash course in Golden Tee, both on the mobile side, by the way, and on the arcade side, you will learn a ton. And we'll obviously have more information on that. But at the end of it, we'll crown a champion. We'll do interviews. And then you and me will start tearing down. And the whole thing comes full circle. And it's actually very depressing to say out loud. But that is how the week is going to go. And I can't wait. I'm anxious to get out there. And we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, we sent out an email to all the qualified players yesterday, but we will announce here, just for those of you that haven't seen it already, the 5 courses for the qualifier have been drawn. Last year we announced them there. This year we decided to announce them in advance. I believe there is another podcast that may be returning to just dissect this a little bit. So I was open to the idea of announcing them a little bit early. But the qualifying courses are interesting, all random drawn out of the 10, 23, 24 courses. But it's Missouri Hills, Manhattan View, Scablands, Cumberland, and TPC Summerlin.
Well, I actually am just learning this, which is great. Your thoughts? I mean, I know these courses good, by the way. I'm putting in the work, studying in the back with Missouri. So there you go. You have a cut. Have you already done this, like a cut line in mind?
I have not. I did see that some of the players started putting it out there, like 135. I think that might be too high. Summerlin, I believe, is decently scoreable. The TPC course, but Manhattan View for a lot of players. And now again, you're talking about the cream of the crop when it comes to World Championship and all that. But that those courses still require a lot of finesse on the par fives to get to a certain spot around the trees, to get past the rough, to kind of line yourself up for that second shot where you're not trying to chip in for eagle, you're putting in for eagle. And Scablands is always, is always a toss up. Missouri Hill, couple of drivable holes that, depending on the golf ball setup that these players are using, could be easy. I know Gino talked about it last week. I feel like there's going to be a lot of equipment changing when it comes to not just the qualifying courses, but all 10 courses in general for match play on Sunday.
What was the general response to courses?
It wasn't bad. I think everyone knew, and honestly, like, this is how it happened. But last year we ended up having a TPC course that was randomly drawn. The same thing this year. I think people were a little bit disappointed that Kangaroo wasn't in. But again, these are all courses that are going to be involved in match play.
Oh, for sure.
But, we're doing something that we don't typically do, which is announce the qualifying courses in advance. We've changed it up over the years.
I think that's awesome. Like, and we've done different. First off, we've talked about this, and sorry to cut you off, but
no,
I love that we're doing different stuff. And when you do different things, obviously you're going to get you change something, it's going to generate different opinions. But if you're playing in this event, or you're thinking about playing in this event, at least for the qualifier, like, you got a week to be able to hone in, right? And I think that's kind of cool. Like, and we had talked to Haas about this. Even a guy like Haas, who's played all these courses and knows it, he wants to hone in, like a guy of that skill level. So for someone like me, and I'm a bad example, but say a player whose whole goal is to go there to make the cut. And there's a lot of play. I think everybody there wants to make the cut, but you have a certain subset of players who are like, no, I want to win. I want to be top 5. Hey, you can go to work here over the next week and really say, all right, here's what I'm going to do if the pin is here, and here's what I'm going to do. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, the other thing that's interesting to me about announcing the courses in advance is, yes, you have people that are going to go practice as qualifying courses, but there's still 5 other courses that are going to be in play for match play. So it's like, where do you draw that balance? And it's different for everybody, from like a casual tournament competitor player versus an Andy Haas or an Evan Gossett or Paul Luna, Paul Taylor, etc. Those guys are playing all the courses every day, if not every other day. But for like the more average player, it's a bit of a shuffle for them. They got to say, okay, do I know these courses well enough where I'm not worried about the qualifier? I just shoot my game and I don't try to care or pay attention to what my qualifying partners are doing. As amazing of that shot as it may look like, don't try it in qualifying. And, Longino said it last week, I believe, where I'm not even anywhere near the quote that he said it, but,
no, it's even better.
You can't win the tournament on Saturday, but you can effectively lose it.
Yep.
And I'm probably butchering that completely. And I'm sure
but that is the proper theme. That is exactly what he's saying. Now that we know, and Frank, thank you, by the way, because now I can study up on my courses. Now that we know, and now that they know, it just changes a bit, and it does speak to being able to do tweaks along the way of certain things with our event, and keeping everybody on their toes. Here, however, is some information, and I think if you're somebody trying to make the cut, this is really good. This is really good for you, because if truthfully, if you're a top player, this doesn't change any mission of like, and I say top, all these guys are top players. The premier players is, hey, okay, sounds good. Maybe I'll give these an extra rep or two. But if you're like, all right, well, let's go. Let's do X number of games. Like, we got the training regimen until we get out there. Or when I get out there, you mentioned like a fair amount of days for open play. I would guess that those courses will be in the rotation quite a bit. You can hone in on your equipment for sure. That's very cool. I think it's cool to see how the strategy will play out.
Yeah, and the other thing that I don't think I told you, just because we've been busy and we're just rolling with letting you know stuff at the same time we're letting everybody else know,
which is actually awesome.
is we're going to do kind of what we've been doing during the national tour, but we're going to do a score contest for the whole time of the World Championship. So basically, starting Wednesday, as soon as those games get turned on, all the way through Monday morning when they fully get broken down. But we'll do a $250 gift card to a variety of categories: longest drive, longest putt, most holes in one, most sand saves, and then most birdies or better. So
Also awesome. Very cool.
Again,
Okay.
the fun thing is that the hours and the number of days that you can be there and spend time playing Golden Tee and just hanging out and having a few beverages and stuff like that. The numbers, I think, when we run these, let's be honest, I don't know if there's a good chance these numbers are going to get run Monday. I'm just putting that out there. They're probably going to get run by me like at 2 a.m. when I get back to Chicago Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Or the rest of the team. But, it'll be interesting to see those numbers because you see them at a Power Events tournament. You're like, okay, because there's a lot more, typically on a Saturday or Sunday, there's a lot more, big, 8-man games, groups of 2, things like that. And it'll be fun to see how that is at Worlds because you'll have some people want to go off and have dinner and come back and play. You'll have people playing in the doubles tournament. There's a lot of factors when it comes to, who's going to get these. And I always love doing longest drive and longest putt because for the average player, it's a good opportunity. Paul Taylor or Andy Haas or somebody has a good chance of getting the most birdies or holes in one. But longest putt and longest drive, they're the more fun ones. Even the sand saves, we did most pars and our most bogeys before, and I just didn't like that for the World Championship. So for this, it's like most sand saves because no matter how great a player you are or bad or average, you're going to end up in the sand here and there. So if you can save yourself out of there, you could get a $250 gift card out of it.
I think it's fun. It's the game within the game. It's a good idea, adding value to a weekend that has plenty of it. And again, if you want to put in your reps and get rewarded for it, like, here's your chance. So no, that's awesome. I think generally speaking, we're in really good shape. We are excited. Before we start talking about sort of just a handful of other announcements, we are going to attempt to do a pod while we're out there.
Yes.
We don't know what the hell this is going to look like. It is a busy week, so obviously everything tournament related will come first. We may shoot it earlier in the week. We'll see how setup is going. Maybe there's something we can do from the room.
We could just shoot it while playing Planet Moolah or something.
That's it. We'll probably end up being just us in our hotel rooms, tired and sore from moving games around. And us just saying like, hey, we're here. We'll see you soon. That could be it too. Or maybe there'll be something else. But we want to do one next week. And I think it's important. And it should come from Vegas because the vibes we can capture will be different. I did look at the weather. Would you like an updated live weather forecast? I could do that
yes,
too.
Yes, that would be great.
What's interesting about this, like the last, I don't know, mobile worlds, arcade worlds, worlds, when we've done these, not only has it been hot because Las Vegas this time of year is always hot, it has been like unbelievably hot, like record hot. Last year for our arcade worlds, it was, I think for both worlds, quite honestly, it was like historically hot. But I remember the first mobile worlds we did. Oh my God, was it hot? Like, so again,
I want to say it was like 115 last year for arcade worlds because walking from the hotel to Notoriety was just very miserable.
Oh, I think it was even hotter. Yes, but 117, 118, one of our tournaments, we saw that. I have good news for you, my friend. It's only going to be 112. In fact, Friday, 108. Saturday, 107. I know this sounds absurd, but it was probably 10 degrees hotter last year on that Saturday for arcade worlds. So it not cold, like, not cold. Okay. Not cold, but better than it could be. I was pleasantly surprised by the weather, as absurd as that sounds.
So I just Googled it because I was very curious. And according to a website, which I'm going to assume is true,
of
the
course.
high and low weather summary for July 2023 in Las Vegas, the hottest day was 114 on July 16th, which would happen to be that Saturday of qualifying.
Well, I thought it was even hotter. However,
it probably felt a lot hotter.
That's did.
Still hot.
And walking to and from, as we mentioned, certainly, you never wanted to show up to an event in a full sweat. But we did every single day. And even walking home, I think to me, God, that first Mobile Worlds, when we were putting that caster desk in the truck, and it was like, I don't know, 9:30 at night, it's still 107 degrees, and you're just breathing warm air. That was unbelievable. That was unbelievable.
What do they say? Like, compared to Chicago, like Vegas is just, there's no humidity or whatever. Like, it's such bullshit.
It's a dry heat. It is a dry heat. It's also just
still
a
fucking
heat.
Sucks.
Yeah. By the way, as an aside, being at the Palms, Chris Longino, who we had on last week, sent me a picture from my the Silver Strike Bowling National Championship that included me and a friend of his and a couple other bowlers. The life in my eyes that I had for that day. One of that was our, we had been to the Palms since, but again, we went to this event. I've been there a handful of times. The most alcohol is as good as our Golden Tee players can be at consuming alcohol. I've never seen a group in a tournament consume alcohol like the Silver Strike players did in their World Championship.
Jeez.
That was a sight to be seen. Our MC, Gary Colabano, Golden Tee lore also got into the mix. It was a tournament that revolved around red wine and God knows what. So I imagine we'll see.
You'll
some
have
of
to send us that
picture.
picture.
It's part of the spirit of the event. But it will be fun. Couple other things. I've got a couple other things. Again, we're coming in hot on this one. Arcade collection. This is a Golden Tee podcast. We also have some other games. If you've seen Arcade collection, I used to have it behind me here. It's our 3-in-1 game of Silver Strike Bowling, Target Toss Pro, and Power Putt. We brought Silver Strike online, and it is online. And I thought I would say it because we work hard on this stuff, and it's a shout out to our development team and everybody else that makes it happen. So if you're a Silver Strike player and you have the 3-in-1 game, hey, go nuts. Any thoughts on that?
No, it's, yes, of course. It's, it's been something that the operators and players have been asking us for a while. And, internally, I don't think we'll ever get the credit for the amount of work that it took to get it together. Even though
I don't want to talk about it.
No, we won't. But even though those 3 games are on the same Nighthawk system and all that, I know there's somebody out there who's gonna be like, oh, you just put the 3 together and just
oh
works.
My God. To the point of I don't want to talk about it. Like these games, it's a fascinating development thing of 3 games that are all of many years old, and you learn a lot about these games when you launch a product. And Kevin learned a lot about me and talking about last weekend and getting this out. But the games are live, they are connecting, and it's interesting because it's a game I think that appeals to maybe a little bit of a different audience than Golden Tee. I know my kids want to play bowling, and that's right. I brought my system box in here. I'm still gonna bring that home. Should do that. No, it's exciting. It's a cool thing. So you'll see more about it. And if you see one near you, check it out because bowling is awesome. Bowling, if that Silver Strike World Championship that I spoke about, as a quick Palms revisionist, aside, what was cool about this, is these Silver Strike players in the World Championship. You're going to see all different styles in watching Golden Tee. But if the guys that played Silver Strike competitively would move their bowler to the right, ever so slightly, pull back slightly right of center, and hit the ever-looming shit, and I mean shit, out of the trackball. And this was not the time of showpiece, right? This was the cabinet. So they would hit it, and they would, boom, pop their hand right into the screen. and everybody had the same style. So just like that little right to left hook in, and
I
they
can
were
literally hear the
doing it.
thumping of the hand on the monitor.
Boom, 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 repeatedly. But we did have some Golden Tee players at this event: Ryan Bourgeois, Sonny, Dayton Root, a lot of the Houston contingent, and these are field players. They play Golden Tee. Not that Silver Strike isn't a field game, but so they're thumbing it, and these huge, majestic, slow hooks in, and they were very, very good at this game. Very, very good. Obviously, super talented, know the trackball in and out. But then saw these guys, and it was like finesse versus just brute force, and it was a contrast of styles. And I'll always remember that because Golden Tee tried to inject its way into this game, and Silver Strike, through the many domestic beers that were confused, that style I think seemed to ring true.
I appreciate this that you brought that up because thanks to our friends at Arcade Heroes, a quick little Google search will bring you some images from that tournament where I, in fact, had to hide my laughter while you were talking about other things because I saw Sonny. Out of anybody, he just stands out so much.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, well, that was 16 years ago, almost.
16 years ago, like right on the nose. It was fun. It was a different event. Again, I did one last Palm story. I rolled a 297 in Silver Strike during that tournament. It was like leading up to the event, standing in this suite by myself, and I was so pissed. But when I play Silver Strike still online, that score haunts me. It's something I'm proud of. It's also something that I can't possibly get over.
Well, who knows? Maybe someday we'll find a way to bring the Silver Strike National Championship back.
It was awesome. I mean, anything competitive, with a good group of people that like to have a good time, like that's us to a T. So I have one more thing. It's a tease. So next week before Worlds, we hope we'll have another announcement, not Worlds related, not update related. I'm trying to think of the best fucking way to tease this. But something, a partnership that we're pretty proud of, that I think will have meaning beyond just the game itself. It's something we've been talking about for many, many months. It's something that took a lot of coordination, and it's something I think that it's obviously more important to just, to us than just making Golden Tee. You will hear all about it, and you will be able to see it, and I think it will make sense then. That's a terrible tease, but I'm trying not to. It's funny. I'm trying not to oversell it. I certainly don't want to undersell it. I want to appropriate sell it. It's also not like anything we normally do, right?
Well, honestly, I'm going to throw you off here a little bit because I know what you're talking about, but I also was thinking about the other thing that could also potentially be something that they hear about.
The hell's the other thing?
Both good things.
Well, now I'm fucking thrown off.
If you just talked to me about it yesterday.
I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Well, I guess we have good news.
It's just gestures in general.
Yes, I know what you're talking about now. I don't know if that will become a thing, but I know that that's actually an interesting point. There are things in life that are more important than Golden Tee. And when we can bring Golden Tee into important things, that is the most satisfying reminder at all. I love what I do. You love what you do most of the time. But we love it because...
hold on. What the fuck is that? You say, I love what I do. You do too, most of the time. Like, you could have said most of the time we love our job, but instead you're like, I love it. You bad.
No.
I'll talk to you after Worlds and see if you still love it as much.
No. For context, I met both of us in that same camp, not just you. That's amazing, though. If you roll the tape on that, I could see where you'd have a problem. No, there are times of this that can be challenging, like any job out there, right? People who love what they do can't love it 100% of the time because, then the really good things wouldn't feel as good, right? It's just not going to happen. But when we can use Golden Tee, which has meant a lot to a lot of people in really meaningful ways, like that's what it's all about. And there's some things going on, one of which for sure you'll hear about, that we're doing that I'm really proud of, that you and myself and others have like really pushed along, and trying to find the right way to execute it was hard. But I think we found it, and I hope people like it. And that probably doesn't make any sense to anybody out there, but that's kind of the point.
That's a great way to end the podcast that we said was going to be short and brief, and is now approaching 40 minutes, which is good. People are going to need some shit to listen to on the plane to Vegas. So here you go.
Do we have anything else? That's a lot. Anything else?
I'm sure we're missing something, but not that I can think of right now. Just, honestly, safe travels to everybody. We're looking forward to seeing every single person, who's coming out there for Worlds, whether you qualified or not, or you're coming to play, coming to have a good time. The Palms is a very interesting place, especially for, an event like this. And I'm very intrigued and interested to hear what people think.
Yeah, I'm excited for the accessibility. I believe that pizza place that we had pizza at right outside the venue is still there and ready to go. Thought the pizza was quite good.
Yes.
Hoping to
doesn't count towards our food and beverage, but you could still eat there.
You could still. Well, it was good. I had pizza for lunch. But yes, go eat and spend money. By the way, please. Kevin's not begging. I am.
Well, I don't really love my job anyway, so I don't need to beg.
It's the English language is hard, okay? And when you record these things, it's a good clip of I love my job. This guy, however, what?
Coming from the fucking writer of all things, by the way.
Well, that's why they let me write and not talk. That's exactly why. So, all right. With that, we got a lot of shit to do, and we're off in Vegas. And then, yes, look for some sort of pod, we hope, next week. If not, please don't get mad at us. We promise we will try, and we'd like to do it. But there's going to be a lot going on.
Honestly, if we need to, we could just record the pod in the middle of the tournament at the commentator desk.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun. Like a live. I mean, yeah. I know where I feel right now, and then I know after setup where I'm going to be emotionally. And I'm being honest with ourselves for once.
Maybe we could record it live from a local church where we're both trying to find Jesus.
Yeah. And then the next week is the 4th, which will actually probably not be a pod situation, but that's fine. We will be celebrating America. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. Kevin, I'm Adam. It's World's time. We will see you guys out in Vegas.
See you next week.